What's up, everybody? Welcome to this very special edition of my Facebook Live. We have a very special guest today, bringing in an interview with, you guys don't need to announce, but you guys know this guy. He needs no introduction. CEO, co-founder of ClickFunnels, freer of entrepreneurs. Welcome to our live, Russell, the Secret Brunson.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Thanks for jumping on to do this with us today. Really excited. My tribe and I, we love you. We appreciate everything you do for us. So it's special that you get to spend some time with us today and answer some cool questions about your new book launch. So thank you for joining.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks for helping get my message out about the new book. It's been so much fun talking about it and getting helping other people to start getting like traffic on their mindset again. So it's good.
If you guys missed the joke in the beginning, I watched Russell's Instagram today, and someone put out, or you put out a funny image of April Fool's joke. I'm assuming was what it was.
Yeah, like
Russell, the Secret Brunson.
I didn't know what this morning either. Here it is, everybody. If you're seeing that,
yeah, there it is.
That's totally my body. My arms look like that in real life.
Yeah.
Like Russell's coming out of retirement to become the Secret.
It's so funny because people thought this was our April Fool's joke too. I'm like, nope, no April Fool's joke. We are bringing Russell in. So I appreciate your time. But yeah, if you guys haven't realized, Russell has launched his new book, Traffic Secrets. There it is. You got the whole box. Yeah. That's so exciting.
I need to make an easy way to get the books out of it. There's the new book. Yeah.
And it's so funny because speaking of wrestling, right? I was trying to think, like, when did I first run into Russell and find you online? And I don't know if you remember this ad or creating this, but it was probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, right before the early bird list for ClickFunnels. And you actually had an ad that was 2 people in a wrestling rink, and they were like fighting out who could make a webpage faster. One was like a designer, graphic designer and developer. One was just a normal person that was using ClickFunnels. And I'm like, wow, what a good hook that was. That was cool.
I forgot about those ads. We haven't used those forever. I wonder if I need to dust them off and bring them off the shelf. Yeah, we rented an octagon for that and everything, and it was it was awesome.
It was so cool because what I found myself like realizing is that marketing is really just like a pet interrupt, right? So leveraging someone's leveraging attention long enough to interrupt their pattern, and then get a story to them that bridges them from the gap where their problems to their desire. So it's really cool how you did that. So.
That is really cool. I think a lot of people miss that. They think that there's some like magic trick to traffic, and it's like, no, like literally it's like fighting, like where are people at? How do I like interrupt them just long enough I can grab their attention, tell them a story, and then make them an offer? You think about, I was talking to Stephen Larson about this the other day. Like, a lot of people think that the marketplace is a person, but like you go to the marketplace, right? You go downtown and you go to the marketplace, and you think about the businesses that do the best. Like in downtown Boise, when we're not in quarantine, they have a farmer's market every Saturday, and you walk around and there are tons of people walking around, and all the different people at the booths are trying to grab your attention. To grab your attention, so they tell you a story about why their product's awesome and make you an offer. And like, that's literally what internet marketing is too, right? It's just like, we're going to like the marketplace. Where are the people at? How do I grab their attention, tell them a story, and then make them an offer? And we realize that it takes a lot of the technical stuff out of it and makes like, oh, this is actually just, it's people, and it's how people work in all aspects of life.
You're absolutely right. And it's like one of my favorite things about the way you lead us and present and write your books and all your trainings. It's very organized. It's like the outline of it is so easy to follow. And I love that for me personally. Like when it comes to reading, I could go through this chapter and then take the break and go and implement that step. And I know exactly where I am in the framework of the entire book as a whole. So it's really cool how you do that too.
Oh, thanks.
But I want to talk about Traffic Secrets because I've been reading the book. I just finished section 2. I'm going to section 3 right now, and
nice.
I probably finished it sooner, but I'm making presentations of each secret and how I'm implementing it in my business. So I thought one cool thing was like, people get these books and they're amazing and they're reading them, but are they implementing the strategies in them? And I want to show them like how I'm doing it so they can model and do the same thing for them. So yeah, we're excited about the book. And when I got to doing this, when I got to reading and like seeing what you're doing with Traffic Secrets and all the trilogy secrets, like your .com secrets, expert secrets, and now Traffic Secrets, what you're really doing is you are bridging a gap, right? So traffic is the number one thing all business owners and entrepreneurs need. And by writing this book, talk about funnels, sometimes they might not realize what a funnel is, but they know they need traffic. So what I was kind of curious was like, was this the overlying strategy for writing Traffic Secrets to get it in the hands of people who know they need traffic and then introduce them into ClickFunnels?
Definitely. And also I had to tell the story backwards because it started with when we first launched ClickFunnels, like I thought everyone was going to adopt it and grab it and start running with it. And they didn't at first. And I was like, like people don't understand why this is so cool. So that's why like the dot-com secrets book we wrote first, like help people who are internet, who are doing stuff online, but they didn't understand funnels to realize like why this was so important. And it got the people kind of in that world. But then eventually we got all them and they kind of understood it. And then the next phase, like, how do I go wider? How do I get more people in? And I was like, well, with expert secrets, I can talk to people about the people that have information or advice or ideas or products and like how to turn those into a business, right? So I'm kind of like creating customers and bringing them in. And that was the second phase. And now with traffic secrets, 100%, it's like, we ClickFunnels has grown so big. I'm always looking for how do we get outside of like our current customers and get more people in and create new customers. I think you're right. With traffic, it's like every business owner understands. They may not call it traffic, but they know they need people. They need customers coming in and they need to get traffic. And so I can come to them and be like, hey, if I walk down the street here and just go to all different shops and be like, oh, you're a restaurant. Oh, you're a chiropractor. You cut people's hair. Like the thing you need is people and people is traffic, and so it opens up this huge world. And as they start reading it, pretty quickly in the book, you realize that like traffic without a funnel is kind of useless. Like the two work hand in hand and you need both of them. And so it introduces them to this whole world of funnels, but it grabs in their attention at a spot that they understand and they can comprehend. And so that's my goal long-term with the book. Right now we're launching it to like this community, but then long-term, my plan is I want to run radio ads and TV and all these things just to see how far out I can pull people into our world and into our community with the traffic secrets message.
Yeah, it's such an amazing lesson too. And it's like watching what you do and when it comes to marketing and building and growing your company, it's just so cool to see and so inspiring. And just kind of watching what you do and then taking that and implementing these things into our own businesses. It's really a beautiful process. So, so I have a lot of questions for you today. I'm going to get through as much as we can in the short time we have together, but I also open up questions to my community because I love these guys. And I know that I wanted to find out what questions do you guys have? And it's so funny. A lot of the questions I'm getting is around like one source of traffic, but that's kind of the opposite of what we're doing here, right? It's like, well, if that source gets shut down, we need to leverage and grow. And really the frameworks you provide in this book were just so mind blowing. And just as I read each chapter, I'm like, wow, I'm not doing this. I need to go do this today. Like I need to do it all, but we're doing it one thing at a time. One of the questions I got was from Michael Evans. He asked, and I love this question, what was your biggest takeaway from writing the book? Is there anything that you learned in that process? Because I know this is your third one now.
Yeah, it was interesting because, even though I wrote the book Traffic Secrets, I'm not the person in our company who's sitting there driving traffic, right? Like my team is really good. They understand Facebook and Google, like the networks. And so I was looking at like for me as an entrepreneur, kind of speaking to other entrepreneurs, a lot of times they're not going to do one in Facebook Ads Manager. Like, how do you look at traffic differently? And it took me a while to I had to reverse engineer and go back in time, trying to remember how we used to get traffic before Facebook, before these things. And I remember as I was writing this, trying to think of just different ways to get people thinking differently about traffic. I remembered back in the day, it was actually when the first iPads first came out. And I remember getting an iPad and I didn't really know what to do with it. There's like one or two games back then, like they're kind of weird. And I remember going to a site called Stumbled Upon. I don't know if you remember Stumbled Upon. I'm sure it's still around. I just haven't used it for a long time, but we basically put a bunch of keywords and you click a button, it would stumble upon and try to find like random sites for you in the markets that you're interested in. And I was like, this is like literally the greatest traffic generation tool of all time. Because you read the book, like talk about the first secret's all about who's your dream customer. And the second question is like, where are they congregating? And the question is like, well, like, where are those people? Like, how do I find those people? And sometimes it's hard. Like, I know I can look in Facebook and Facebook groups. I can look for different blogs. I can look at podcasts, but there's other places that your dream customers are already at. So I'd sit in bed, literally with my iPad, and I click Stumbled Upon. I just keep clicking the little button, and new websites would pop up. And I saw I remember one blog popped up that had like 350,000 readers, and I was like, I've never heard this blog. So I subscribed to the blog. I messaged the blog owner. I'm like, this is amazing. And then I click again. Next thing pops up, and it was like a squeeze page. And I put my email address in. I started getting emails. I found out later this guy had like 100,000 plus person email list. I never knew who he was. I clicked it again. And I'm like literally just clicking this button. And he's popping through. Like, here's another place your dream customers are at. Here's another place. And every night I would get 5-10 different places that had traffic I can then go to and try to buy ads on the site or contact the owner, like different, just basic things like that. And it was amazing. And so I try to get people to start understanding that, because right now in our community, you're seeing so many times like people's ads accounts getting shut down, or the ad costs are going up and they're freaking out. And I want people to understand that like before there was Facebook, there were people we were still getting traffic. There are other ways to do it, but it's understanding more of these strategies of where are my customers already at? And then how do I get in front of them and throw my hooks, get their attention and and bring them into my funnels. And my goal with this book is just really get people thinking differently, like realizing that like there are so many more things I could be doing that I'm not. I think it was fun as I was writing these things because I was like remembering stuff and like stuff we hadn't done in 4 or 5 years. I'm like, why are we not doing that? Like, I bring my team and I explain it to them and they're like, why are we not doing this? I'm like, I don't know. This is how we did it for years. And then we got lazy because of Facebook. So we started re-implementing stuff, and it's been fun because like we're re-implementing a lot of the things that we had done in the past we'd forgotten about and seeing the results. And it's just like, it's fun because it makes you just feel so much more solid and stable as every time you add a new traffic source to your business. They say that in business, one is always the worst number, like one merchant account, one funnel, one partner, one traffic source. I think so many people rely on one. And if for anyone listening, if I was to ask you, like, if you're one traffic source, Facebook or Instagram, or wherever you get your traffic, if it disappeared tonight, what would happen to your business? If that scares you, then it's time to like read this book and figure out how to get all the rest of them in there.
And so true, because I remember that was your first hook was like, if Facebook, Instagram shut down, like what would you do? Would you survive? And it's funny because I went to go do a broadcast just now and I can't send out a message on my messenger list all of a sudden. And like, of course, of all days that happened, but we still have a lot of you guys showing up and here watching live. So smash that heart, keep holding that thing down, show some love. This is awesome. But yeah, it's just such a good point because, reading this book and knowing that was one of your major hooks, you've been through some of the major shifts of the internet business and seeing businesses fail overnight. Do you know why it is that these slaps happen? And do you have any predictions of what the next one might be?
Yes. So if you look at, I imagine like you were launching a Facebook or Google or something, right? And you're trying to get people to start using it. So initially, like you need to get adoption, and then you need advertisers to give you money. And so what happens initially is that they start it and we need people to give us money. So they make it really easy. And all of a sudden, like advertisers start coming into Facebook. Like when Facebook first came out, I remember like if you were in this market at all, you heard people like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting, 10-cent clicks right now on Facebook. I'm getting this and this. And everyone starts talking and starts buzzing. And all of a sudden the advertising dollars are all over here. I'll start like, wait, really? And they start shifting and more come over to eventually get this base hold of like tons of advertisers and cash flows coming in and everything. And then, so that's usually the first phase is like, they're trying to get all the attention and the eyeballs and the advertising dollars over there. And so they keep it open and they keep it easy for a while. I remember Google did it with AdWords. They did it with SEO. Facebook's done it. Instagram, like all of them do it because that's how they get their initial surge of people and the cash flow. And then over time, what they start doing is they start looking, okay, where do we make the most money? It's like the whole 80-20 or 90-10 principle, right? And they realize that like the companies that make the most money from are these huge brands who get, they have a $500 million a year advertising budget and they do not care about ROI. They just need to get their, like those are their dreams because they don't, like their ads can be horrible, doesn't matter. And they plug them in and they pay whether it converts or not. And they got all the people like us who are like the little guys who are, we're like optimizing everything and we're tweaking things and like we're spending exactly much, trying to be profitable and like, we're not spending as much money. Even like, ClickFunnels right now, we spend pretty close to $1 million a month in advertising. We're still considered a small advertiser to like Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. And so eventually they start looking like, man, 90% of our revenue comes from these big, huge brands who don't care, who like they're easy. They don't ask questions. They're not spamming people. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything aggressive. Our compliance doesn't have to worry about the claims they're making. They're just easy. And 10% is coming from from all the smaller advertisers. And eventually it makes more financial sense for them just to like tighten up the rules, shut off accounts to just bug them, and then just focus on these ones. And that's happened with Google. Like I remember I got started, 16, 17 years ago, and Google was that way. And it was just like, I remember that there was a guy, his name was Chris Carpenter. He wrote a book called Google Cash, and it was $37. I bought it. Everybody bought it. And it was just like, you spend 5 cents a click on Google and you'd make $5 back. And it was just like, we all thought we were geniuses and everybody bought it. And like I sold so many ebooks because everybody in the world was doing it, right? Yeah. And sure enough, like for the first year and a half, everyone made crazy money. And then they did that. They killed out small entrepreneurs, kept the big brands, and Facebook and Google died. And like, I remember that pain and how many people struggled through that. The way that we were able to start recovering is the better we understood funnels, the more we could spend. And like, it opened up that whole world again. But the same thing's happening over at Facebook right now. And there was a time when I first started, I was just like, Facebook is like Google back in the day. We were like, it was like Christmas time. We're all like making so much. It was so easy. And it got a little harder. And right now we're in this weird phase where you can see if you're hanging out in any of the Facebook groups, you start seeing people talking about like, my ads account got shut down. What happened? Like everyone's freaking out because it's starting to happen now. And I'm sensing it, like it's happening more and more. In fact, when I wrote the introduction 18 months ago, which is crazy that the introduction literally says, introduction, there's a storm coming. And it's like, it's coming right now. And then, we're seeing it not only from the ad standpoint, but economically as well. And who knows what, the repercussions of the economic side, but it's crazy So it's
Is so right on because we'll go over it here in a second, but the 6-step framework you give for any platform, no matter what you're doing right now, no matter if it's the next big one that comes out in the future, you could take these frameworks and go and apply them. And I just thought that was so brilliant the way you laid it out for us. But you started this book with something very important. And when it comes to starting an online business, a major issue I see personally with the market is that people are trying to serve everybody. So you start Traffic Secrets off with who is your dream customer? How did you personally carve out your own niche with sales funnels? And what is your best advice to help people carve out their own place in the market's ecosystem?
That's a great question. You know, I think what most, it comes from like, I remember when I learned business in high school and college, I always talked about like, all you gotta do is find a mousetrap and build a better mousetrap. Mm. And like, that's like most business owner psychology. So look, they find something's good and they try to make something better. The problem with that is that the person with a better product doesn't always win. It's usually the person who is either first to market or the fastest, most aggressive marketer who comes in first, right? And I talk about this a little bit in Traffic Secrets, also in Expert Secrets. Like in any given market, there's usually what we call a category king, and the category king is the person that's in charge. Like it has this category, right? And traditionally throughout history, usually the category king sucks up like 85% of all the business. And then the last 15% is what everybody else fights over. So if you're coming in trying to be in a better mousetrap than somebody else, like you're literally, best case scenario, you're fighting over the last 10 to 15% with a whole bunch of other people who are also trying to like become better. And so like when we were launching ClickFunnels, funnels, there were people that were talking about funnels or people teaching courses on funnels, but there wasn't a software platform. And like there was landing page software, there was email marketing software, there were all these other things. And we could have came in and been like, we're a better landing page software, or we're a better marketing CRM. But instead we came in and said, look, like we're different. We kind of carved out our own little space and said, okay, we're going to be this thing. We're going to be sales funnels for people. And initially, like we're just serving people who are like me, like people who love marketing and like want to like learn how to like maximize things. And so like that was the customer and that was who it was. And we served them in a very, we didn't try to be all things to all people. It was like we do funnels. That's the thing that we're going to be the best in the world at. And that's kind of how we started. And then as you start growing that way, it's kind of fun because you start like chipping away at the other category key and start sucking in business, but yours still grows and becomes the thing. And so I think for everyone, like I always look at that, like, don't try to figure out how can I be a better mousetrap? Like, what can I do different to solve this need better for somebody? And if you can figure out that piece, it gives you such a big advantage over all the people who are trying to be better, right? Because now you can come in and you own this new market you created, and now you can design it any way you want, and you're the only solution to that problem.
Absolutely. I love that. That's a great answer. And I just think that people need that so much when they're coming in, especially in my world. A lot of people that follow me are just starting out. So I appreciate you going into that for them. Now, so I'm here today. You and I are here today on this interview because a year ago, this month, you told me during the 1 Funnel Away Challenge to go start publishing. Pick one platform, go publish. And over the last year, I've been able to grow a following because of that. So thank you, but thank you for coming back and serving us. Now, there's people I know that are following me that are so hesitant to start, that take that advice that you've given me and go and start their own platform. So can you emphasize the importance of publishing? And for the people who are watching this that are stuck on getting started, what advice would you give them to give them a push to get started publishing?
Yeah. It's funny because everyone gets nervous. I got nervous when I started. I'm sure you're probably the same way. Like it's never like comfortable. It's like, oh, this is gonna be so much fun for me to go live every day and like talk about things. And it's scary, but man, it's so vital. It's so powerful. In fact, one of the stories I tell inside Traffic Secrets, I tell a story about Arsenio Hall. And I don't know, do you remember Arsenio Hall? Is that before your time?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was a kid. Arsenio Hall was the guy at late night talk show, and then and like he was awesome. And what's crazy is Arsenio Hall had the biggest talk show, right? I remember as I was doing the research for the book, it was during like the presidential campaigns when Bill Clinton was running for president, and Arsenio Hall called Bill Clinton and had him on the show. And he was on the show. He played Heartbreak Hotel on saxophone. And a lot of people think that like the fact that he was on the Arsenio Hall show is a big reason why he actually won the presidential, became president, because he was able to sway so many minority and young voters who were watching that show that didn't care about the other things, but because he was cool there, like they went out and voted for him. And 2 years later, Arsenio Hall show gets canceled, and nobody ever hears from him again for years, right? Like I forgot he even existed until in 2012, he showed up on Celebrity Apprentice. And I remember he's on Celebrity Apprentice, and I was like, oh, that's like Arsenio Hall guy. I remember whatever happened to him. And there's all these other celebrities on there, and there's this fundraiser where they have to all go and raise money for their charity. And so all the celebrities on the phone, they're calling people and they're getting checks for like 50 grand, 100 grand, 2,000, like making all this money. And all of the celebrities made a ton of money except for one. And this one celebrity not only didn't make very much money, he made $0. He didn't make a single penny. And it was Arsenio Hall. And he's sitting there in his phone, his Rolex, calling person after person after person and person. And nobody will return his call. Nobody will donate money. Nobody will do anything for him. And it's interesting at the end before they go to the board and they show this clip of him. He's sitting there and he says something that was so profound. I think most people missed it, but he heard it. It was, for me, it was like, he said, when I had my own talk show, everyone returned my calls. Mm. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's the thing. And I started thinking about like, over the last 17, 18 years I've been doing this game, like I've tried to build a platform. I have an email list. I have I have a podcast. I've tried to build my platform. And I look at like the relationships I have today, like people like Tony Robbins or just any of the people I've got to know, like as much as I think that like, oh yeah, if I would have met Tony in the street, we would become really good friends. The reality is that it wouldn't have. Like the reason why I was able to get into these people is because I had a platform, because I had a show, right? When I call Tony, he returns my call because I have a platform. And like the thing of value that I have to offer people is my platform. And so it opens up so many doors and so many gateways for whatever you're trying to do. And so like when you guys read the Traffic Seekers book, there's a lot of ways to pay for traffic. But there's a lot of ways you can get traffic for free where you're working your way in. And when you have your own platform, it gives you this ability to work your way in that you can't get any, like money cannot buy access. Like when we did the Expert Secrets book launch, Tony Robbins did a Facebook Live to his audience. We had over 3 million people watch the Facebook Live of him pitching the book and telling everyone to buy it. I'm like, I couldn't have paid Tony $1 million to get him to do that, right? But because I had a platform, I was able to work my way and build a relationship. And eventually he was like, yeah, I will do that thing for you. And so it's just like, it's the most powerful tool you can have to leverage. And people always tell me like, Russell, that works for you because you're Russell Brunson. I'm like, well, 18 years ago, I wasn't Russell Brunson, whatever that means. I was a punk little kid who thought, hey, my mentor told me I should start publishing. Maybe I should start publishing. And then I did, even though I was scared. I didn't want to. But now in the future, now it's like, it's so easy to get in almost any door because of the platform I've been able to build. And so the same thing is true for you guys. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, you're a perfect example. Like you've had a platform, you've been building up, and now here we are hanging out. Yeah, cool. And it just works. It consistently works in all markets.
Yeah, and it's so true. And it's like, with your platform now, I have organic traffic and paid traffic strategies. You go into both very in depth in this book, and it's opening up my eyes how to do things the right way on social media. And also, like one of the biggest things that stuck out to me was that you didn't start buying ads until 10 years into your business. And what are some of the steps that someone must have in place before they start running paid ads first?
Yeah, I think a lot of people get shocked by that because people always say, my product's done, I'm gonna go buy my first ad. I'm like, why would you buy your first ad? Like you should test it first and make sure that you can get traffic other ways. And so I didn't buy it after 10 years, partially because I was nervous, partially because I didn't know how it all worked. And so I would just work my way in. And I think, man, like before I ever bought an ad on Facebook, I would try to do a Facebook Live to somebody's audience and see if they even like it. Before I bought an ad on a podcast, I would go do the podcast circuits. I'd be on a bunch of podcasts and see if podcast people actually want to buy my stuff. Right. Like when you're going live or you're going, when you're working your way and you're going for free, you have a little more freedom to kind of test some things out and see what works and what doesn't work. Whereas when you're buying ads, like you better know what's going to work or else you're going to lose your money really, really quick. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a big advantage for people to go out there and do this stuff, go try some things out for free and just get good at it until you kind of find the right messaging and figure out what people are responding to before you go and spend money behind that and try to grow it through paid ads.
That makes sense. And once you get that message and it's on one platform and you're doing well, and at what point do you think it's okay to go and bring it to another platform to add something? Like if I'm on Facebook, when is it okay to go to YouTube and Instagram? At what point did you go and do that for ClickFunnels?
It was a while. I think a lot of people do it too fast. They try to like, hey, I'm on Facebook, now I'm on YouTube, like, and they go wide. Like I want people to understand that like at the beginning it was just me. And so like I had to pick one. And I was like, what's one for me? So for me, like podcasting was one of those most simple. So I picked podcasting because I could do it. And I focused there. It wasn't until I was making enough money from that channel that I could hire people to help make sure that like I didn't want to lose any traction there. And then we went and said, okay, I want to do YouTube, but when I do this, like I want to make sure I have a team and to help me because I can't do both at the same time, right? I need some more help. So now I'm able to be on all platforms, but like I have a team that helps me with that. So I'd say focus on one platform until you make enough money from that platform to start building a team to help you on the other ones. Otherwise you'll do all of them poorly and then like nothing really good comes. I'd rather have all your attention on one and just focus on one as opposed to doing 2 or 3 or more, halfway.
Yeah. Critical. That's awesome. And, you know, I heard that one of your favorite parts of writing this book was the growth hacks. And, you know, one of the last growth hacks you talk about is about creating your army of affiliates, which you have done amazingly with. Like, I already had my offer, my bonuses ready to go when this book launch came. And like, there's so many other people out there like me who love spreading your message. So many of the people who follow me are just starting out online and have not yet created their own products. I believe that finding a company like yours, ClickFunnels, and promoting what you do, aligning with your message and your value and your mission to promote your already amazing products is the way to go. So I think you could learn a lot about marketing, a lot about what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you do like doing, and I think the next opportunity will present itself. So my question is, what advice would you give someone who's ready to make the leap from just doing affiliate marketing to creating their own brand and offers?
I would say the biggest thing is, because I'm a big believer in starting with affiliate marketing to kind of figure out, because it gives you a chance to start building an audience before you do stuff. And then for me, like when I first started, I was an affiliate. That's what I did as well. And I was selling people's products, and I was trying to say, what are the gaps? What are things that people are missing? Like, where can I serve as well? What's something I can create that complements the products I'm serving that I'm selling? And at first I used that where I was like, I would give people like, hey, I created this thing you get for free when you buy the product from me. And I did that for a long time till eventually this product started getting better and better. And I was like, I'm just going to sell my product now, you know? And then it became its own standalone, but it gave me the ability to like use it as a bribe to sell more stuff as an affiliate. And I kept making it better and better and better and better until eventually it became its own standalone thing that I could sell just by itself. I think that's probably the easiest way to kind of make that transition.
Yeah, that's awesome, because it's critical. I think it's something I'll always do is promote what you're doing, but it's like a lot of people are like, what do I do next, right? So yeah, it's a great answer. But that's going to bring us to the end of our interview. Man, that flew by. I have so many more questions.
Too fast, I know. I'm so sorry.
I appreciate you so much. I know everyone else watching does too. Real quick, I want to give you guys, I saw Russell go live this morning talking about, he's got a Traffic Secrets podcast. Go and subscribe and review that. So that's my first call to action. But also, if you guys haven't got this book, what are you guys waiting for? This is gold. Go ahead, go through tslaunch.com, links in above. The link to go review his podcast is above as well. I left both links. But don't forget to get your book. Get this book, buy the upsell. You got to get the three books with the Unlock the Secrets, which is a workbook, right, Russell?
Yep, the workbook goes with the whole thing.
Cool. So you can actually implement these things in your business. When you guys do, I always thought about like, what is this book is amazing, but what we do, we buy a book, we put it on our shelf, we don't implement. So I actually did a presentation for every secret in this book and how I'm implementing it in my business, so you guys could follow the same path. So when you buy your book at tslaunch.com, I'm going to send that right over to you guys. You get the presentations and my slides, so you guys go start implementing Traffic Secrets into your business.
Cool.
All right, Russell, thank you so much for just leading the way, providing us the tools, the resources to help free us from our jobs. And you've done that with me and many, many others. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for having me, man. I totally appreciate it. And thank you for helping to spread the message. And it means the world to me. So thank you for your time and sharing your platform with me today.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Thanks for showing up, everyone. Have a good one.